for histological diseases like ulcerative colitis, you can ask like 100 different experts about diagnosis for one and the same patients, and only 50% experts will agree between each other about the test results, about the right diagnosis, about the right degree of the illness itself. And we have many, many such areas when experts don't know how to combine knowledge of between each other.
Welcome, everyone, to the Tech Business Roundtable podcast show. This is a podcast show dedicated to shining a spotlight on tech innovators, entrepreneurs, founders, and the compelling narratives behind the movements they've established. I'm your host, Ryan Davies, and I'm hosting today's discussion on AI in MedTech, pioneering innovation and business growth with Kanstantsin Vaitsakhouski. Kanstantsin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, Ryan. How are you?
I am good. I am good. For whenever this airs, this is Monday early morning for me. So this is the start of the new week, and the energy is high for me. And we've got a really great topic here, Costa. You are, an expert in this area, and there is so much. I mean, in our pre-talk before we started recording here, there is so much we can talk about with AI and MedTech, and all of the areas it touches, all the barriers, the challenges, the opportunities. But I think right now, maybe the best is for you to kick us off with a little bit on the, current overview on the landscape of AI and MedTech and how it's kind of changing the healthcare industry.
Yeah, thank you. So the current landscape of the AI, of the healthcare and the life science, that's something great, and it's a really big thing. And the good point that this is only the beginning of the AI application in this domain. So, for example, this year, Google launched really advanced state-of-the-art large language model for the healthcare, which is the name MedPalm 2. So the first one, it also was launched by Google. But anyway, it's still really beginning. So it can operate with answers, with medical information as a guide to good students from the USA and all from India. So it was hardly tested on the examination questions from these countries, but at the same time, it's a little not so good like experts. And at the same time, it's a lot of questions behind it. And this is only questions and answering system. Also, we have a huge domain of different image processing AIs for the MedTech, for MRIs, for histology, for X-rays. There's another story. This domain also is really huge and really interesting. Likely, this direction is much well developed than large language models, and first algorithms which were applied for the X-ray analysis could do this even like several decades ago. Also, we have just a very huge set of different intelligent algorithms which are responsible for finding drugs, for finding the necessary proteins, for finding correct molecules. That's another direction. So it's really a huge unbounded domain.
Yeah, there's this conversation. I mean, we could have 5 sub podcasts just on each of those areas, right? Because AI is touching each one very differently, right? And you're the head of AI and technical product management at APRO Software, right? So you're a leading figure in the world of AI innovation and entrepreneurship. You've been doing this for 12 years. What motivated you to focus on AI applications in healthcare? Is it just that there's so much growth and opportunity here? Is it kind of a lagging industry from that standpoint? What was it for you that kind of drove you to this space?
You're right. That's the point, but that's the main point only from a business perspective.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah, that's true, because the AI in healthcare, that's really a direction. That's really a nice domain when a small startups, small companies can compete with such huge corporations like Google, Microsoft, and Meta. Yeah. So, and at the same time, this direction, this domain is so responsible and is so important for the life of everybody, for you, Ryan, and for my life as well. So, because I really believe that these technologies will change the healthcare, will change the future to something much better than we have now.
I mean, there's so much to cover here, and I mean, again, I'm going to be a little bit broad when we start here, but there's a lot of uniqueness in this space, right? Compared to
Right.
other areas and other pillars. What are some of those challenges and opportunities that businesses face when they're integrating AI into the healthcare solutions space? And I know, again, this could go for a while. We're going to have a few sub
Oh
questions
yeah.
on this one, but I'll let you kind of kick it off here.
So okay, if let's start from the very beginning. The first challenge that's to, and we need to understand how to build this AI, how to build the architecture, how it will work. For example, in all the others domain, for example, if you would like to make I don't know road traffic forecasting, so it's quite obvious task. We can understand it. It's clear how to do this. Only we need to build a reliable model. About healthcare, it's totally different. For example, for histological diseases like ulcerative colitis, you can ask like 100 different experts about diagnosis for one and the same patients, and only 50% experts will agree between each other about the test results, about the right diagnosis, about the right degree of the illness itself. And we have many such areas when experts don't know how to combine knowledge of between each other. Also, the assessment criteria can be really blurred. For example, even in scientific papers, you can read something like this level of this disease will be characterized by medium to high presence of neutrophils. But what is medium? But what is high? It's we don't have any explanation, so it's really difficult to explain how to calculate, how to build. So what we need to do. So it's really difficult. If we somehow that's the first challenge. If we manage somehow to understand it, the next challenge this is the data. Because if you want to build AI system, you must have a lot of data, and this data must be reliable. So AI, that's a data AI development. That's like 80% resources and time that's about work with data. And in the healthcare, this domain is highly regulated. It's extremely personal data, and it's extremely difficult to get this personal data, especially if we speak about rare disease, which not COVID, not uh, something like this, but really disease like genetic disease, which appears maybe on when you have one case per 1,000 citizens. So that's extremely difficult. So also you can't just came to like random hospital say like, could you please give me like 10,000 examples of data for this disease? So most likely they have much less. Most likely
No.
they have any like specific data formats, and you can't expect the data formats from one medical organizations will be really similar to the data formats from another medical organizations. And by data format, I mean not only the file format, but also the way how they works with these files. So, and also sometimes, and not sometimes, but really usual, together with this just data about the disease itself, you need to have metadata, basically information about a person. So for example, somebody has, let's say, problems with heart, and you would like to make some kind of AI prediction about the future of this disease or this kind of person. And next, you need information not only about disease itself, but about metadata about this man and woman, the age, the risk factors, the gender, the like smoking or alcohol addictiveness or something like this, and analysis of other things. So, and all this together can take a really long time to be collected. Also, it's extremely difficult and expensive to collect data in this domain.
Right.
So that's the next challenge. And basically also that's just another point. Sorry, just I had to mention it. This difficulty also provides a nice business opportunities for new startups and companies. So it means that you can create a company who will help to collect such kind of data, who will be able to make an annotation of such kind of data. Just and this will really, really important, and this will help you to solve the issue number one with understanding of how measure, and as issue number two with data, understanding what you can measure. So, and next you go to the diseases itself and different variations of these diseases and medical tests. Ryan, do you know that medical health organization has about 55,000 different codes for different disease? Together with this, we have at least 10,000 different medical tests. And together with it, we have several hundred different file formats for storing results of these tests. So, and you can, so, and if we just simply multiply everything to calculate combinations of all this stuff, we will have the answer about several billions of combinations. Also, basically, these AI systems have several billions direction to work with. It is only healthcare. And this is why it's so difficult to create AI in healthcare. And this is so why even such big and powerful companies as like Google act extremely carefully and only small and really reliable steps in this direction, because this domain is just too big, too difficult. So, and then basically this is the issue number three, and the issue number four, regulation. So even if we forgot about any AI regulation in the world, regulation of the technology in the healthcare is the most strict in all countries for, I don't know, maybe for several decades, but maybe for several, even half a century. And it's extremely difficult to prove that your system is really safe, and it also takes time and money. So here is four main changes. The first one, that's understanding of the problem itself. The second one, understanding and collection of the data. The third one, understanding let's say your domain itself when you work with data, with what you assess, how you assess, what will be the result. And the fourth is the regulation. So, and all together makes this domain one of the most difficult, and at the same time the most so it has the biggest prospects. So I really believe in it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I mean, there's so much to take away there, and I think that was an absolutely perfect, summary of some of the barriers that exist. But it means that it's unprecedented opportunity, probably in this space, almost more than any other in AI, because of that, because the challenge is so big and so difficult. But I think a great takeaway there is, break it down. You don't have to try and solve every problem at once. Start with like the really, just okay, here's what I'm trying to solve. Now how do I even break that down smaller and smaller and smaller to find these solutions as you build up?
Yeah, you're right. So I really believe that this approach, which you mentioned, when you go from small steps, from small pieces of this and big structure of the medical AI, and next we can combine it in something bigger, bigger, and bigger. So, and I really believe that this approach is really promising and will give the best opportunities. Just I recall that a few years ago it was a huge story about IBM Watson. So because they invest like so incredible money, so incredible resources and time in the development of this system. So basically the IBM Watson, they believe that this system will be really advanced, the state of the art, the best in the world AI system for AI medical diagnostics. So basically like, do you know this TV show with Hiyori, the Dr. House?
Oh yes, yep.
Yes, so basically it would be like this Hiyori, but much better. And yeah, so and unfortunately the approach was wrong also because they really would like to build something like big, just not not from bricks, but from big stone. And unfortunately the expectations was really overestimated. I don't remember all details of this story, but I think that already several years IBM Watson is definitely not a newsmakers in the mass media.
Yeah, I mean you just talk about that. It's like breaking down the human genome project all over again, trying to crack these codes. Like you said, there's so many variations. You're collecting from so many different
Yeah,
sources. You've got to test the reliability. you've got data formats that are different, languages that are different, regulations that are different, like where different countries, different
Yeah,
regions that have to try and do all of this. There is so much to be able to that AI can help bring this together. Have you seen, the integration of AI impacted into the med tech space, and some of the impacts on business growth that's come about from that? I'm sure with APRO you've been a part of this already. Could
yeah,
you share a story there or two? Yeah.
yeah. So it definitely impacts. Just if I mention a very general example, currently, like each MRI scanner, each CAT scanner, and each modern X-ray machine has AI inside. It automatically detects tumors, makes some kind of like classification, segmentation. So, and it can do really a lot of things, and it can do the things much better than humans. And it think not replace humans, but really simplify the life of doctors and save the time of such important people as medical doctors. So that's great. That's perfect. So from my experience from APRA, we help to improve medical tests, clinical trials. So we participated together with our partners in creation of the AI system for assessment of some kind of histological indexes. So we worked with images, we worked with cells, we worked with tissues. This domain, this direction is really not well developed. So it's really quite new. So, and we had to came up with the idea how to build the architecture, how to summarize opinion of different experts, how to make the data validation and data labeling. So because again, this is the domain, this is the direction when different experts simply not agree between each other. So we can't calculate, we can't find any gold standard here. It was additional extra challenge in this domain. So, but I believe the project was successfully done, and I'm really proud of the quality and the opportunity which this project will give to the humanity. So, the other direction, so it's very personal. I'm currently at the very beginning of developing another startup. It's about healthcare. It's about mental health, finally,
Mm-hmm.
and it also, and I believe that also AI can really help you there. So because if we speak not about this like problems with data, problems with regulations, which are usual if we work with some kind of medical tests, medical texts. But what if you work directly with humans, for example, like a psychiatrist, a psychologist? So you can be biased. You can be biased because maybe your lunch was not really delicious. You can be biased because you have bad mood or something else. So the opposite person also can be biased against you again for different reasons. Maybe you have shoes of a wrong color. That's possible. So maybe you have a meeting in the wrong place, something like this. But sometimes when people buy, they don't understand the reason. They don't understand even what happened with them, what's going on, or wrong, or what's going right. So, and I will try to solve it, at least, or it is to try to solve it. So, and I'm very passionate about this. Yeah.
There's just, I mean, I think it's obvious that there must be, and I don't want to, maybe I shouldn't say obvious, but maybe I'll ask you the question around, how receptive is the healthcare sector to embracing AI solutions? Like, do you see that this is kind of the trend, is they're ready to get on board, or is there still a lot of resistance to bringing AI into the healthcare sector? Or is it kind of, again, maybe regional dependent or industry dependent, or things like, sub-industry dependent there?
Yeah, it's really interesting question because I don't have just a simple answer, yes or no. So because
Good. I
I
like the
see,
complicated
yeah,
answers. I
good,
love
great.
these. Yeah.
So because I can see everything what you mentioned, I know people and who really believe that AI will change the healthcare, they're testing for something better, and it must be integrated into it. At the same time, I can see and I know stories about a huge resistance when people think it's something like just like some kind of strange, useless black box. And this attitude, like, it's highly depends even I don't even it's highly different even between different hospitals. I'm not talking about different countries or regions, just between different hospitals and one in the same country. So again, it's not about technology, that's about humans' perception of this technology.
Right.
So, but if we ask like medical experts, if we ask entrepreneurs, if we ask, I don't know, for example, Bill Gates, so all these people will prove you that AI and healthcare, this is the future. This is a perfect match, and they will be together.
And I know you have a lot of experience in both healthcare and like smart mobility as well. And I think there's a
Yeah,
critical intersection there that's happening that we're seeing more and more and more that's now becoming mainstream accepted.
yeah.
Maybe, give us a quick little insight into that as well. I know it's a little bit diverting, but I think they kind of come together as well in terms of, the synergies that exist between the applications in those two domains.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, both domains they have their own specifics. So the both domain unfortunately has a lot of resistance. So and both domains they are not so obvious if you would like to build something. So we already discussed medtech and healthcare, but the smart mobility is a little bit different. I'm based in Europe, and in the Europe, in many countries, this domain is really well developed. So, but anyway, it's still beginning. So, for example, in this domain, we can use AI for such tasks like a prediction of road traffic and average speed. We can build a logistic path. We can make optimization of this traffic itself. We can count, detect vehicles to be sure that, for example, wrong vehicles like trucks don't try to pass on the, for example, closed roads or near schools or somewhere else. Or, for example, trucks who deliver dangerous goods. That's also the point. So we can track such cars, such vehicles with dangerous goods using AI technology as well. So this is a really huge domain with many applications. Especially if we can combine data with several sources. So this smart mobility domain also has a lot of interconnections with different hardware devices, different sensors, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, magnetic sensors that are installed directly in the world, smart cameras, lidars, radars, satellite cameras, and many other things. So this is really huge and really, have to work with many different kinds of data and sources of data. It's also a little bit linked with MedTech AI, which also has a huge number of data sources and data formats. Another difficulty that smart mobility, this is usually something which is interconnected with the state, with the government. So,
Right.
and when you have government, it's also always some not very fast decision making. That's a bureaucracy, and also you will not have many such projects. For example, Brussels administration will launch a tender for installation of such a system inside Brussels, and somebody win this tender, and for next 5 years, this business opportunity will be closed. So this is quite difficult. So, but if you are the winner, so we will have really incredible opportunities. So because the investment of these projects it's quite big because the results are quite important and quite big. For example, if we speak about medtech and AI in medtech, at the end of the day, you have this the human life. So you have our health. So it's something. This is a system which can make impact on your death or on your life.
Right.
So if we speak about smart mobility, it's a little bit similar. So it's about time. It's how many time you save, how much money you save. Also, if we speak about emergency services, so the smart mobility management, the way how if you are able to manage a traffic inside your city or not, it really depends on how urgently emergency services will be able to achieve somebody who needs this service. It's also crucial. This also extremely important. This also extremely interconnected with climate change topic because the more advanced smart mobility system you have, the less CO2 emission you have in this region. So also, if you manage to build a smart mobility system, for example, about something about public transport, if you manage to make it really convenient, when the buses and trams will arrive on the right time, so when the people really need it on the peak, when you have the biggest number of potential passengers,
Mhm.
most likely somebody decides, oh, today I will not use my car. Today I will take a bus. So, and it's really so in the Europe, it's really the case. Trains and this is really works. So, and it's not about traffic management; it's about management of public transport. So,
Mhm.
basically, it's about everything except airplanes and ships. So it's also about selling different tickets. So it's about parking services. It's about the security services because the system, they are really respect the modern smart mobility system. They really respect your privacy, but they can really track a lot of information about world and about people in this world. So from gadgets to different details about your vehicle, like car number, model, manufacturer, and many, many other things. So it's really, really interesting topic. So this about security, this about savings of time. So, for example, if police would like to know if you have, let's say, a stolen white car in this region, it can open a special dashboard on smart mobility system and check and search by car color on the database from smart cameras. So it's really,
Wow.
really interesting.
That's wild. I mean, it's just you could see how they just they impact each other, the commonalities between them and like how they're going to be intertwined
Yeah, yeah.
are coming to the surface. With that, I know, we're running a little long on the episode, but I'm loving I'm loving the conversation. I want to ask a couple more
Okay,
questions
great.
here.
Cool.
We talk about that now. Let's talk about the importance of collaboration within this industry as well, right? Because forming partnerships is going to be crucial. We're talking to, our
Yeah,
tech business founder audience, and it's such a fine line between partnering and oversharing and partnering for the benefit of pushing, businesses forward. But what have you seen in terms of the importance of forming these partnerships within, AI solutions in medtech?
so in medtech, that's really crucial to build a trustworthy partnership with hospitals and with medical scientists.
Right.
So because that's a huge probability that in this, when we try to solve the idea to the issue on what to build and how to calculate, you will have to make a really long consultation with scientists. Maybe with people who developed these tests, maybe with people who developed this methodology. This is crucial. This is extremely important. So, and also this collaboration with scientific domain in medtech, it will also really provide you a huge help with regulation. So with different compliance things, it's also really important to collaborate with hospitals because scientists, that's somebody who is in very, very beginning. So hospital, that's somebody who in the very, very end. So basically who will take care about people who are whose life will depend on your solution. So also, and must have this feedback. And this also not just about responsibility. So it's of course responsibility is crucial because we have the humans at the end of the day, but it's also about helping with regulation, helping with compliance, helping with business opportunities because scientific community and business community is really highly interconnected. So like scientists can become a businessman and launch a new company based on his or her recent discovery and vice versa. A huge company can invest in science to have a new discovery to launch a new business domain. So, and basically AI is something who we or it can unite science and business here. Just it's in this like healthcare domain.
I think that's just a perfect way to kind of sum up that area. We'll kind of close off here with breaking out the crystal ball for you here, looking ahead. As a final thought, key message, or anything that you think maybe a trend that's going to define the future of AI and MedTech, or how tech business founders can really position themselves for success in this space. Any key takeaways here? I know there's been tons of advice and tons of points here, but this could go again a whole episode on it. So I'll turn it over.
So it's so important at the same time, so difficult question. So basically, if you would like to success in AI in the medtech domain, so you must believe in science and you must rely on science. So this understanding of what you want to build in the very, very low level, maybe on the level, not only the math, because math will be the next step, on the level of biology, biochemistry, or psychology, it will be the first and very, very crucial step. So, and also you have to understand the disease and people with this disease in extremely detailed way. So you must know what. So you must keep in mind that AI can make mistakes. People also can make mistakes, of course. But what kind of mistakes is less dangerous? For example, if you have like a 5 grades of the same disease when the grade number 0, it's like nearly nothing, and the grade 5, you must provide emergency help to this patient. So what if this AI system, which will grade this disease, make a mistake? For example, what if make said so this person has the grade 2, but in the reality, the person has grade 3 or vice versa. Which option the better? So you must keep it in mind. So basically, science-driven and data-driven approach first.
Perfect summary there of a good place to kind of close off, give people there's so much to take away from this episode. I think we could run a few more in this space for sure, and I may not let you off the hook yet. We may have to do a few more discussions here. But for our audience, I want to give you a minute here just to kind of let them know how they can get in contact with you, learn more about APRO, all of the pieces here, because I'm sure there's going to be people out there that would say, I'd love to pick your brain and get a little bit more information, maybe form one of those important partnerships we're looking at here.
Yeah, sure. So you can contact APRO via our website, apro.ai. So, or you can find me in LinkedIn. So that's my main social network. And I really will be happy to collaborate with you, to discuss with you something. And I believe that together we will be able to find something incredible which will change the world to the better. So for the better tomorrow.
Absolutely perfect. I think that's a great place to close off. And thank you so much, Kanstantsin Vaitsakhouski, for being here and giving us so much knowledge, so much to take away in AI, MedTech, and for our business, founder audience to be able to understand just this limitless opportunity that exists in this space. I think, and it's a heavy lift, but for those that are willing to do the heavy lifting, I think there's just so much here, and pioneers like you're blazing the way for us. So thank you so much for being here and sharing all of these great informational pieces with us today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So with that, again, thanks to Kanstantsin Vaitsakhouski for this amazing podcast, AI and MedTech, Pioneering Innovation and Business Growth. And I want to thank our listeners as well. We can't do what we do without you. So until we meet again with another amazing TBR episode, I am your host, Ryan Davies. Take care and stay curious out there. Thanks so much.